Welcome to Fortuna's Events podcast series, where we engage in dynamic conversations with the pioneers, experts, and change makers driving progress across industries. In each episode, we explore how cutting-edge innovations, strategic approaches, and emerging trends are reshaping the future of businesses. Our goal is to offer fresh insights into the evolving challenges and opportunities that professionals face today. I'm your host, Shweta, Senior Content Executive at Fortuna's Events. Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode where we explore the future of bridge engineering with one of our industry-leading experts, Dr. Hesham Nour Eldeen, Practice Director of Structures at AECOM. Dr. Hesham has worked on some of the most innovative bridge projects in the world, and we are so excited to have him here today. Dr. Hesham, before we dive into our discussion, could you briefly share a little bit about your background and what drew you into bridge engineering?
Sure. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the kind invite to be part of the conference and the podcast as well.
Pleasure's ours.
My name is Hesham Nour Eldeen. I have nearly 30 years experience, all are in bridges. Started my career back from my home country, from Egypt. I worked in Egypt probably something like 10 years or something, and then I moved around the world. I worked for some years in the UK, in Malaysia, and then to the Gulf area, where probably I did probably work in most of the Gulf countries. I worked in Saudi. I have projects in Qatar, in Bahrain, and mostly in UAE, where I reside.
Interesting. Okay, that's a pretty impressive project list.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, out of all of this project, what would you say were the most memorable one, and what challenges did you face during it?
It's difficult to make them only one. There are really many of them.
Okay, let's talk about them.
Yeah, I would probably I would start with the cable stayed bridges, where this is my specialty, and I've done many of them around the world.
Mhm.
So I will mention one of them is Andra Worley in. So I did the design with Darren Handasa from UK office. That was a very interesting project, impressive one, and also the construction was also challenging. I didn't work on the construction, but I did work on the in the design. And the other interesting one is Butterworth project in Penang in Malaysia, where I did work in both design and construction. I stayed in site probably something like 2 years.
Wow,
Till we finish all the construction of the cable stayed part. And so many other projects, probably not as big as this in terms of the size of the structures, but as a size of the project, I would say Raha Beach in Abu Dhabi was also one of the very good ones and challenging. Mainly the challenge was the huge number of bridges, probably 50 plus bridges in just a couple of years, design and construction. And the other one, which was also have a time constraint, was the Expo route, where we have to finish all the bridges all around the Expo area before the start of the exhibition. So I would say also that was one of the challenging projects.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm actually from Butterwood. My hometown is from Butterwood, and
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so Sungai Fry is just like 20 minutes away from my house. So it's good to know that you've worked on that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I lived in Penang 2 years.
2 years, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
lovely place.
Was there any challenges that you faced while staying there and designing the projects?
Yeah, I would say each project has its own challenge. From probably some of them, you may find that the budget is the constraint, so we have to come up with a design which cuts all the budget as required. Some of them, you may find that the client is not probably up to the budget constraint, that limit, but time is the most critical one.
Constraint,
like the projects, and especially if you have an event with a hard deadline that cannot move. And this happened with us. I would say it happened with me 3 times in my career. One of them is the expo, where there is a deadline. The exhibition has to start on that date. Whatever happens, the project needs to finish by that time. That was one. The other one was the projects for Qatar World Cup, the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. So all the infrastructure in this area was given a hard deadline that they need to finish this. And the third one, which probably even more critical in terms of time frame, was the Jamarat Bridge in Mecca, where every year we need to finish and reach to a milestone in a way that the pilgrims for the coming year need to come and find everything ready for season. So that also was one of the challenging projects. Yeah.
Understand. So how did you overcome it? Because if it's part of the design, you know what to do, right? So if it's apart than that, how do you overcome these challenges?
Many of them, usually when you have the constraint in time, the first thing you think about how to reduce the time of construction. And that could be going for probably standardized cross section. Don't go for every bridge will look different. Try to use modular construction in a way that the contractor can proceed in different angles. Try to make that the project can start from different starting point rather than having only one starting point from A to B. So they need to find different ways of starting points. And the other one also, starting from the design, is really making the design probably as optimum as possible, reducing all the possible of either construction errors, which could delay the construction, or unnecessary waste of material that could also delay the construction because of the procurement or whatever aspects related to that.
Okay, Dr. Hesham, you've been in this industry for more than a decade. You've probably seen the prominent changes in trends over the years. What are one of the biggest trends that you've seen taken place, particularly in the GCC region?
I would say the challenge in the GCC region, and this is one of the points I may start talking about this in the conference, is that in spite of that the countries in the GCC, they have the same traffic demands, the same traffic loads, the same probably condition, the same local requirement, but still the requirements are different from country to country. So that's one of the things also, and there is probably some room for improvement here, that people are working on different countries and you find that the requirements are a bit different. The other thing, which the change of the material that happened along probably the last I would say 20 years, there is a huge improvement in the material. There is also a huge emphasis and highlighting of the environmental requirements. That becomes a major point to consider now. It wasn't like this 20 years ago, for example.
Yeah, with sustainability.
Now. So sustainability, environmental requirement, consideration of the wildlife, and all these things were a concern in the past, but not as important as it is now. So there is a big change in the industry.
Would you prefer the traditional approach or the new innovations?
We can't stop innovating. So definitely with every new method of construction, new method of design, new software package, new requirements, definitely there is huge research behind it. And definitely there is there for a reason.
Agree.
It's not just involved in the design for no reason. It's there for a reason, which means that yes, we have to adopt ourselves. Even sometimes there are challenges at the start to go with the new things. Definitely with every new thing there is some resistance, but with the time, I can say this, I've seen this along my career, that with the time you understand really that change was required and it had to happen.
Okay, if you were to give one example of the thing that had to happen, what would you say the changes are?
I would say the more detailed analysis and design and detailing the construction, because if I look to the drawings we used to produce 20 years ago, it is not as detailed as it is now, and I don't think that we could stop at that level. Definitely there is a change. There are new environment requirement. There are probably new organization or authorities requirement that have to consider. Introducing new technologies like BIM adding all these values to the construction, adding more information to the construction and the design, and all these things. I think they are valuable things. Need to be treated with probably extra effort, yes, but there is definitely a need for that. It's there for a reason.
Agree, especially, GCC region experiences harsh climates and, environmental conditions.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything that plays to these factors, like especially materials or construction methods? Would you say that these changes plays a big roles with the environmental conditions?
Yeah, but it's not new. Actually, starting replacing, for example, in the concrete mix, some of the Portland cement with GGBS or silica fume or these things. That's very useful for the environment, and I would say also it's adding great value to the concrete in terms of the durability and sustainability. So that's one of the things also which used to be there in the past, so many years ago. Now it becomes a must. So it becomes, for example, now there is a decree in Dubai for the green concrete issued by Dubai municipality, and everyone working in Dubai have to follow. So it's not I would say it's not a feature. It's not a nice to have now. It's a must to have.
Must to have, understand. Valid point. Okay, Dr. Hisham, with what you said earlier, the challenges when it comes to chasing deadlines and due dates, when it comes to this, how do you balance speed and maintaining quality, especially with this fast-tracked projects?
There is always an important factor in the production, which is the human factor, the skills. So as long as you are using the right resources, the right skilled people, that they have done this before, definitely you may find, or you have to find someone in the team who's doing it the first time, but that could be probably 10-20% of the team learning with the rest. But majority of the team, if they have the required skill and they have passed this before, definitely the success is guaranteed.
Understand. So we would still focus on the quality rather than the timeline. Or are you saying that it's both?
Both. Was if you are using the right
People.
team, the right people, they have the skills, the right software package, which is oriented to the type of the structure you are designing. I think you can manage both.
All right. Do you want to share any one of the projects where things were going side, like things were not going accordingly, and how did you come and solve it?
Not to that limit. I would say that when you start planning the project at the start, and I can give the project Expo is one of them. Expo route, the development of the road network around Expo. And that project was a huge project. Probably the construction cost was billion plus. And it has been divided into to ensure that the procurement will happen on time. So it wasn't given to one contractor to work. It was divided into 6 different contracts. So that's one of the early planning things, that you divide the work into different contracts. And the other probably point is that trying to simplify the design in case like this, that you have to meet a hard deadline. So we simplify the design. We standardize the shape of the bridges. We standardize the shape of the piers as much as we can. We standardize even the type of the reinforcement in a way that even there are 6 contractors, they may go for 1 or 2 only of steel suppliers. We went for high durability concrete mix, which will help also in the durability and sustainability of the structures. We went for new materials by that time to Dubai, like improving the type of the bearing devices that has been used in Dubai for long time. Then we changed it to a more advanced ones. So all these things together with good planning led to the success of the project and delivering it on time and on very good quality. The bridges, if you go by the area now, the bridges look beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of planning needs to put beforehand for
Yeah,
the project.
definitely.
Yeah, I understand. All right. I'm not going to take much of your time, Dr. Hisham. But at the upcoming summit, you will be sharing even more detailed insights on bridge planning, design, and operations.
Mm.
Without giving too much away, can you tell our listeners why they should hear you attend? Like, why should they attend this summit to hear you present?
Actually, along with the 30 plus years of working in that field, more than half of them is in the region of the Gulf countries. I worked basically in all the countries of the Gulf, did projects in, even if I didn't live in some of them, but I did projects in all of them. So I understand the challenges in each country. I understand the opportunities where we can improve. And I would be sharing my experience about what I faced and the current practice, what we are doing now, and my thoughts how to improve and where are the areas where we need to focus along with our clients, our colleagues who are working in the industry. It's not only myself or AECOM leading this. It's a collective approach. All the people working in the field. So I'll be sharing my experience. I'm definitely expecting other colleagues will come across and probably share their experience. They may agree or disagree with some of the points. That will open probably the discussion to move forward.
I understand. All right. Is there anything that you would like to add on?
Thanks a lot. Thank you for having me. Thank you
Oh.
for raising these points and looking forward to meeting you in the conference.
It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
and your valuable insights. Can't wait to meet you at the summit, Dr. Hesham.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned for more exciting episodes featuring industry leaders from around the globe. Until next time, stay curious and keep innovating.